posing with,
I'm so mad. Chris went to Thor and they gave him one of the Justice League posters when he was at Thor. I was like, what the hell? If I knew they were gonna give, oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, let's see it.
Merchandising.
Nice.
And now I just realized I probably should bring my drinking horn.
Well, yeah. I mean, it matches the top hat. They go hand in hand.
Do you have a monocle, sir?
Yeah,
I do. I just can't find it. I haven't seen it in a few years. It actually goes with this hat because this is when I was dressed as the Penguin for Halloween. I had the monocle. Man. I had the cigarette holder, the whole nine.
Was it it was the Burgess Meredith Penguin?
Yeah. Although, like, I actually had the false nose and everything to make it look a little more pointy, and all this was gone.
Oh, okay. I was like, you didn't paint over it like Cesar Romero would paint over his mustache?
I was thinking about doing the Joker and doing that.
Yeah, if you're cosplaying a 60s Joker, you have to paint over the mustache.
I mean, fuck it. They did that in the porn version, so you had to do that,
As long as you still have to keep around town.
Yo, dude, the worst part was like I ran into this dude dressed as the Joker, and he legitimately scared the shit out of me because he did not break character.
Yeah, that's always the creepiest where they commit fully to it.
I couldn't tell if he was the Joker or just some homeless guy because it was like he just like was covered in white makeup or cocaine or
cocaine.
So this was New York then.
Yeah, you were just it must have been New York, right?
And it was the East Village, so.
All right. So with all that, let's start the show.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's all staying in, by the way.
Yeah, I can't find a better way to start it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Force Comic News, episode 50. I am Chris, alongside Mike. We're celebrating, and Mike, I brought something special to celebrate.
Oh, you brought a beer? Oh, man.
Did you bring enough for everybody?
Did you like throw the bottle on the floor? Oh, okay.
And I also got my special Avengers cup. So cheers, boys.
Wow. I didn't know it was one of those podcasts.
Oh yeah, it is this week.
And it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week for comics.
So if you guys didn't know already, for our 50th show, we brought in the guys from Wayward Raven. Say hello to Mark. And
what's going on?
With his beautiful top hat.
Yeah. He does have a monocle, he just can't find it right now.
It's buried under all my stuff
there too.
Yeah, what's the cat's name? We might interview it.
That's Cookie.
Cookie.
She's the chill, relaxed one. My other one, Shady, is right now torturing my wife in the living room.
It's kind of fitting that you don't know where Shady is, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we realized if I'm here with her by myself, she is the most obedient, nice cat ever. When my wife is here, she is a fucking monster.
That's how my cat Greedo is.
Yeah.
So last time we talked, you guys were going to San Diego Comic-Con. Chris and I were very jealous about you guys going to. So what happened? You guys survived. Obviously, you're still here.
We made it back.
Yeah. You came back from San Diego in the nice weather. So tell us a little about it. How was the experience? What was it like?
It's fucking awesome. Why did we come back? Do you remember? I
think I had a job.
Besides having the plane ticket.
Wife and stuff.
Did you not notice that people were sleeping, outside perfectly well, no problems? I think I could have done without the job and just stayed. Fine.
They're probably the most well-off bums you'll ever see on the streets. in San Diego.
It gets a little odd if I'm sitting there in the street corner just trying to sell Wayward Raven books.
Yeah. To be fair,
alms for the poor.
A lot of the homeless were asking for like tanning lotion more than anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can imagine.
We got plenty of food. We just need to look
man.
Yeah, we don't need it. We just we don't want to get sunburned.
So how did it go? You guys had the booth? Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, it was weird though. I don't know. It was kind of a different vibe than some of the other shows we've done. some similarities, but I mean, like the thing that stuck out for me was Saturday was legitimately like the worst day for business.
Really?
We could have like we could just walked away on Saturday.
Wow.
Opposite of every other con anywhere.
It was weird. It was weird, like when it first started too. Like when we got into the convention center, our entire row was covered. It was like huge line, and at first we were like, "Hey, oh, there's a lot of people in here. We can start selling shit." Nope.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
We're here for toys. We're here to stand online for toys.
Yeah. I mean, like, I totally give people, props for the commitment. Lord knows I do it for beer.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't for them. They weren't waiting for their own toys.
Yeah. Well, that's true. It's kind of like, collect and resell, or I don't know, but it was just really weird. The other thing that was weird about Saturday was, I think there's so many like previews for Saturday, right?
Yep.
That's
like all the big panels
and stuff like that. Into that, but like you kind of go like, dude, you just waited like 3 hours to see a 30-second, clip that's going to get shown all over the internet. In about 30 seconds.
Right after it airs. Yeah.
As it's airing, it's live streaming.
And
right?
that was my problem. Like, I mean, I've gotten to so many cons, and there was one year I went to New York Comic Con, and my sister and I were like, "Listen, we walked the show. If you want to see the Walking Dead panel, we could devote 6 hours of our life to sit in line."
Oh, yeah.
But then we saw the panels for all the rest of the day. So I was like 3 rows back. I mean, I saw Keanu Reeves, Matt Damon, and all these other panels. And the John Wick 2 trailer dropped. But all this stuff, like, I was texting my friends about it. Oh, John Wick 2 trailer. They're like, yeah, it just hit the internet like 10 seconds ago. I'm like,
yeah,
there's no point of me being here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many other things you could do. But it was just weird. Like Saturday was just like, it was like a void. But to be honest, we had an awesome show. I mean, we did well. We talked to a lot of folks. It was cool because we brought a couple new books and things like that. And it was just, but it was just very counterintuitive to me. That's all.
And did you guys do anything in San Diego? Did you get some time to like hang out in the city at all, or?
Oh yeah,
Mostly
every night.
Bar hopping.
Mostly bar hopping. Finding like breweries to go to. There had to be an abundance there.
What do you think? We slept maybe 4 hours a night tops. I mean, in any given, it was just yeah.
No, we actually did get a full night's rest, man. We were very fucking efficient with that shit.
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember a whole lot of sleep.
The whole week is just a complete blur.
I mean, well, I was kind of hungover that one night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was never mind. I'm very well rested, just hungover.
That's always the worst. So like, as it compares to New York Comic Con, is it like are there a lot of people there for comics? I always hear San Diego's more movies and stuff, but you got it in talking comics.
We got a fair amount, I think. I think a lot of people do go there for that still. That hasn't changed too much. But yeah, it's still a lot of it is a lot of the glitz and the glamour and who am I going to see and kind of the whole celebrity thing.
Yeah.
And, I think it was interesting for us because we got a little piece of that as well. I mean, we're going up the one night and we're getting on the elevator and earlier in the day, this is actually really funny. Alex looked at me and he's like, "Dude, you're wearing the same shirt I'm wearing." I'm like, "Dude, I'm wearing a blue shirt. He's wearing a black shirt, right?" And but we're just both wearing brown shorts or whatever, right? So like it was close enough. His black, my blue, it was dark blue. It was close enough that like, all right, if you looked really quickly, you're like, all right, you look like.
Well, I mean, with the
right?
more lighting of the elevator and everything like that, it definitely looked like.
Yeah. So
they're matching.
So somewhere around. Yeah, exactly. We did everything but skip and hold hands.
I had to think you wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But there was just one night where just like that happened, and so like we're done with the night. Whatever. We're walking back up into the hotel and getting under the the elevator, and I kind of hold it for someone coming behind us, right?
Yeah.
And we turn around, and a woman gets on, and then she looks at us, and the first thing she says, she's, "Oh, you guys look like twins." I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, no, it's blue. I swear this is blue. Like, I'm defending myself. And we both kind of look at her, and we're like, you look kind of familiar. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm on Once Upon a Time. And we looked at her closer, and I realized, oh shit, are from Burn Notice, right? Like, because that's how I know her. And it was just so she's so like just busting our balls. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's the kind of experience you have there, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. People sometimes you don't even know, and I mean, I think it's almost every year where they say like after San Diego ends, they're like, oh man, Mark Hamill was walking around as a stormtrooper, and like I remember the year Bryan Cranston cosplayed as himself, and nobody believed that it was like Walter White and all this stuff. So cross paths with someone and not even know it at some point.
I don't know if you guys are football fans
than I did.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I at one point I'm sitting there and there's just lines of people past the table, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a Steelers fan, so I saw this dude, like, he's got like the Steelers shirt, and he's kind of walking by them. And I talk to everybody. I mean, if you've ever come by my table, it's just, hey, what's going on, whatever, anything I can do to engage somebody. Mm-hmm. And I saw the Steelers shirt, and I'm like, hey man, you a Steelers fan? Well, that dude just totally ignored me. He kept walking, but the dude behind him, right, stops and goes, yeah. And I look at him, and I'm like, oh shit, it's D'Angelo Williams.
Hey, are you Steelers?
I guess he's a Steelers fan. Yeah, you know.
I had no idea who this guy was, by the way.
Yeah, it was, but it was like you couldn't see him at first with the crowd, and then he just stopped, and I'm like, So I talked to him for like 2 seconds, or whatever, and then he kept going. It was just a weird. It was just you know what I mean? Like, you have those little bizarre moments, and that's the show. Yeah. All
right, you talked about, you brought some new stuff there. So last episode we had with you guys, we couldn't talk about the secret thing that was happening. Now we can talk about it. That has been released. It's in Fusion,
and it was awesome.
Oh, you guys liked it?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was really good. Really?
Yeah, I did the cover.
I like that. It's very.
I only take credit for editing.
It's very simplistic, but I like it. It's the POV of looking out into space, right? So, want to give us the rundown of it? I mean, we both know what it's about, so. But give us the elevator pitch. If we're standing next to each other, being like matching outfits on an elevator. And you had to pitch this comic to me.
Holding hands and skipping.
Yeah, holding hands and skipping.
I keep threatening Alex I'm going to shave my head so that with the beard and the shaved head, and I'll look like his older brother because I'm a little taller. Okay, a lot taller, but
considering what my older brother actually looks like, that'll be fucking hilarious.
Come join the Wayward Raven cult.
We keep joking around with that. We're going to do that when we're standing next to Josh, since he's the only one with a full head of hair. This is our leader, Joshua, of the Divine.
Of the Divine. And then we all shave our heads and wear top hats.
Yes,
indeed.
I want to put braids in my beard too, but
that's like next level.
I actually can now.
Well, you have. So the new thing is, like, when Christmas time rolls around, you have to put the bulbs in your beard. You've seen those, right?
No, I haven't, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, they make beard bulbs because why not?
Everything.
Alex, you need. Alex, I keep telling you need 2 beard bulbs. Just 2. Grow a set of beard bulbs, would you?
Look.
Oh wow, it's so useful. You can hold pens with it.
Yeah, I found this out by accident. I was like drawing one day. I'm like, holy shit, it's staying in there.
That is awesome. And it's really funny too. When I on the subject of holidays, I was reading the weekly comic strip, right?
Yeah.
Damn Heroes. Yep.
And there was the one that was for like Halloween. Where it's like Jack Skellington is a attorney for like, I don't know, like Pumpkinhead, basically Halloween, and he's saying like they already have enough of the year or something, and like Santa and a snowman, and Santa's like, I don't like the jury, they look kind of scary or something like. But it's all the other holidays. It's so true though, because like Halloween ended, and then it's like there's Christmas shit everywhere. It's like,
oh my god, that pisses me off so much.
Yeah. It was very appropriate.
12:01, 11:1. I'm like, I'm seeing there's freaking like Mercedes-Benz commercials playing Christmas stuff all year round. So you're like,
When I'm saying
like
Christmas
it's July
in freaking September.
It's too much.
What the hell?
As somebody who frequents a lot of stores in his area for my job, the Christmas stuff starts coming in September around here.
Yeah.
Like, I see it in the back rooms of all these stores, and I'm just like, guys, we haven't even gotten past fucking Halloween, let alone September.
Yeah. You're not supposed to put Christmas stuff up until after Thanksgiving.
Is nothing sacred anymore? God.
Yeah. Damn it, do you wear white after Labor Day too?
Apparently that's the thing now.
Yeah. Monsters. People are, the world's going to shit now. Who the hell wants to celebrate a holiday about giving for more days than it is? Come on, that's terrible. People need to be, we need to lower them to where we're at. Yeah, the reality of the situation.
On the 130th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
We are actually going out for Black Friday.
Yeah, I don't go out for Black Friday. I used to when I was a kid, but it's not really.
No.
The only time I've ever done that is when I was driving past a local Best Buy on the way to visit some family members. Yeah. And I just kind of wanted to like, pull up in front of them and show them all the food that I was bringing and be like, ha! And just drive off.
I've had friends that have, they've waited hours to get, like, a 55-inch TV, and it's just, like, what a wait to save 100. Like, the amount of time I'm sacrificing sleep and everything is, like, it's not worth it.
No. I'll go out for one thing. Goose Island Bourbon County Stout.
Oh.
Comes out only on Black Friday.
It's funny you say that because, hold on, let me adjust my camera really quick. There's bottles of beer sitting up on that shelf right there.
I see them.
And the two in the middle are Goose Island and Bourbon County Stouts, 2016.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I'm saving those for a special occasion. Those are. Yeah, I might drink it. Maybe I'll drink it on Christmas. I don't know.
I don't think I would wait online for those though.
No.
Oh God, what's wrong with you?
It's a funny story about those beers though. So I live in Pittsfield, Mass. It's when people hear Western Mass, they think Springfield, but it's not even as close to being remotely as big as that. But I went to our local grocery store and they have like a craft beer section. Like it's not that big, but I'm checking it out and I'm walking by with the cart and I see the little flags. The Bourbon County Stout has the little flag on the end of it where they initial it and write the year. And I'm like, holy shit! And I look around like someone's watching me and like, and I'm like, I grab the bottle, I'm like, this is Bourbon County Stout, and there's like 10 bottles there, and I'm like, and I'm looking for a sign that says like, one per customer or something. And I'm like putting them in my cart like one at a time. And I'm like, nobody
Wile E.
notices.
Coyote standing somewhere with a trap. Yeah, like
yeah. I'm like waiting for like a rope to spring and like catch me, and I'm like, something's gonna happen. And then they bring me back to this room where there's all these like hipster-looking guys with beards that tried to grab the same beer that I grabbed, and like, shit, they got us again. But no, I went to cash out. I asked the cashier, I'm like, I could buy as many of these as I want. And she looked at me like I was asking her permission or something. She was like, yeah.
I don't know. Shit. Can we see your ID?
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, they're drinking it.
I had a similar thing where I went to my local place and I'm like, oh shit, here's the beer that Mark's been telling me about. I snap a photo of it and like I just grabbed 2 for myself and I walk out the door and like I get into my car and then like Mark sends me a text, buy them all.
Yes, buy them all.
Yeah, buy them
and
all.
I go back and I'm like, I find the guy who owns the shop. I'm like, do you have any more of this? He's like, yeah, we got a couple in the back. It looked like asshole. I was hoping nobody would take them.
Yeah, nobody asked for them. And it's like I discovered gold because I found them and I think I got like I don't know, 4 or 5 for myself. And then I'm like texting my sister because she can't find it. She's like, yeah, give me a couple bottles. My friends are like, oh, can you grab me a bottle? So I walked out of there with like 10 or 12 bottles of it, which is like unheard of because people wait in line just to grab 2, right? I mean, it's crazy.
To get one. I got 3 last year. I got 3. And I had to go to like 4 different stores.
And here we are like, oh man, people wait in line for TVs and action figures. Come on. I'm waiting for something I'm going to piss out 12 hours later. Come on. Like,
you gotta have priority.
Well, dude, when we were in Boston, I was like, do I really want to stand in line with you to fucking get these beers?
Oh, that was great. And it was worth it.
It's a whole other lifestyle. Oh, man.
We were
it's funny, you guys.
You wouldn't camp out for that beer, would you?
Camp out? No. I don't think so.
I don't think I'd camp out for any beer, but I would show up a few hours early and sit in the weather and wait for something, but yeah.
It depends. If it's like a snowstorm outside, it could probably wait. But if it's a nice day out and like you make a thing of it, yeah, I'd probably wait.
No dedication, Mike. None.
No dedication. Yeah, I'm a lazy piece of shit. So. I need things now. I can't. I have no time to wait.
I've camped for amigos before. That was fun.
Oh yeah. Yep. We've all done it. All right. So let's get back on track here. We need to know what this.
I was gonna say that's a long way off too.
Yeah. No. I don't know where we started. We were in space, and then we landed back on Earth talking about beer.
So space beer.
Infusion. Give us the rundown of that, and then we can talk about whatever the hell we want after this. The elevator pitch.
We still don't really have an elevator pitch for it, do we?
Well, we kind of do. It's a real top line helium-3 mining operation where folks start to go missing, and the crew starts to go missing, especially in places where they shouldn't go missing, and they have to make a decision: do we blow this popsicle stand, or do we stick around and find out what the hell's going on? So real cool sci-fi action adventure. Well, actually, it's probably less action adventure, definitely sci-fi, hard sci-fi sort of thing. It's don't go expecting Star Wars and blasters and stuff like that. But if you're into the science,
it's definitely more Star Trek than Star Wars. I've actually seen people definitely. You know what? Actually, I can tell who's gonna like it when I start pitching it, and if I see their eyes glazing over, I'm like, okay. You want one of these instead.
Yeah.
When I say helium-3, and they're just like, there's more than one kind?
No.
Do you have any of those things with a ball and the stick that I can just go like this back and forth? Yeah.
Actually, you just have a ball of yarn. Do you have a ball of yarn? Even that'll do. Just you get rid of those people. You just roll it off the table. They chase it down the con. Like. That's awesome. So it's just the one shot. Are you guys thinking about doing any more with it, or
we are? So maybe not with that specifically. We're trying to do more one shots. I have another one, the cycle, that's going to be. I got to get it lettered. But once that's happened, we're going to kick that one out. We're trying to do a little bit more of that. We've been exploring some thought processes around maybe doing some like kind of a compendium anthology that works. But it's something that we some folks and get a sense of if there's some interest out there and doing it maybe eventually quarterly, but right now I think we're thinking once or twice a year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
one thing we've noticed that works really well for us is like a lot of people they're really engaged in some of our ongoing series, but it's like, we're an indie publisher, so we don't have the publishing cycle of like Marvel, DC, Image.
Mm-hmm.
We can just release every month. Mm-hmm. So whereas we are getting fans for like the Ascendant and Horseman, we're finding like Sign, for instance, or Infusion, that gets a lot of attention because it's a single self-contained story. So we're finding we want to experiment with like doing like these little one-shots that are like their own contained thing that they can just pick up. Like, oh, it's a couple bucks, great, I'll check it out. Hey, you guys got some good stuff. I'll come back and read your other stuff once I'm invested in your materials.
Yeah.
And that kind of, we're kind of noticing that that's like what a lot of people want is complete stories. So
it's also been our idea behind a lot of our comics anyways. They all end. Horseman's 5 books, Ascendant 7, Signed, which is now done and rolled up into a trade, was 6. So, they were always going to end. We always tell people dead is dead and done is done, and
except for Damn Heroes, which throws all that out the window.
Yeah, well, that's because we get destroyed and everything.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, me personally, I like one shot. I read so many different comics that if you go to a con, it's probably really good for a con setting to have a one shot there, because it's not a commitment. You don't have to be like, oh, when am I going to see this again? Obviously, other stuff's available on their website, but I think the one shot is a good way to. It's like a sample. Like, yeah, here's a sample of heroin, and you'll get you a little taste, and
the first taste is free.
Yeah, first taste is free, and then you'll come back, right? Yeah, it's always good. It's always good to compare comics to drugs, especially when you're handing them to kids, because you really understand.
These comics are made with real heroin.
I find that with a lot of indie guys, it's a lot easier to do one shots and stuff like that, because sometimes, you guys are much better than most, but a lot of times it's like you go back and you keep going back, like when's the next book coming out, and you kind of lose track of it after a while. So to get them just on the one shot and they get their story and they're happy, it seems like you have a better, happier customer at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
It's actually funny you bring that up too, because I know from when I used to go to cons before I started making books. I found some of my old books that I got from New York Comic Con years ago, and I was like, holy crap, I have person at a con in 10 years who did this book. But then I'll find other books that I'm like, oh wait, I picked up issue 1, I still see this person, maybe I should revisit them. So it kind of works in that case. It's like, I can understand from their perspective of having people who might not show up next year. We kind of try to think about that a lot when we're doing our books.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Even with that, once it's rolled up into a trade, it's always going to be a trade. So anyone who snagged any of those comics, that's it. They're from that point on, it's always trade. So
it's a collector's item.
Yep.
Yeah, the trade is great too, because a lot of indie guys don't do trades. I know a few that do, but to get it into a trade and just say, here's the when someone says, I only want one, or I don't know, maybe not, you can be like, this is the whole story right here. Bam. You don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no hunt.
And another thing with ongoing series too, Chris and I at the end of the episode will always do our what are we reading right now, and it's always I don't know, Walking Dead comes out twice a week now, but it's I think I could count on my hand how many times Walking Dead has had a slump in the story where it's just they don't know what they have all these characters, and then they're on issue 148 now or something. It's what? How long are we going to drag this out for? You reach a point where you just
theoretically forever with Walking Dead, right? Or until everyone's dead.
Yeah, exactly. But how long it stays interesting is the other question. But I feel like it forces a lot of stories that you wouldn't necessarily tell about some of these characters too. And if you have one solid story or a couple solid stories, you don't need to make everything a 60 issue series and try to force these things out. But
well, that's always the thing that always drives us a little bit crazy with for as much as we love comics and love a lot of the characters out there, and for the big publishers and whatnot, you really can't kill them off. You know what I mean? You can, but you don't. We all
know Captain America's going to come back. He might go Hydra, he might die. Coming back.
Yeah.
As long as you buy a Ford Explorer, they will keep making Explorers. So, you know what I mean? That's it's their product. That's their Explorer. So
I still believe them though when they say Batman died. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? Where do I go? They killed Batman. But then of course, Batman was making copies of himself the whole time. So it's now we have infinite Batmans, and I don't. I'll never have to worry again. But then next time they kill him, I'm like, oh shit, come on, what do they do with Batman?
They killed Batman B-37A.
but it's okay. He's not
my
from
favorite
7 series Batman.
And then the next story comes out where that's not even Earth Prime. Like that's just an Earth that doesn't matter. It's like a mirror Earth that they found in the multiverse that like, you were a mistake.
And then Aqua Flashpoint happens.
And it was delicious.
So let's talk about what are you wearing there, Alex? What do you got? Is that a new shirt that I see?
Your Zerker shirt.
Sing it.
And
Sing
your
it.
Zerker.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna give credit to Josh. It was the idea of like, hey, let's do like a shirt with like this character who's like Berserker, dude who's like a Viking, and I'm like, wait, I got this. So I drew it like I kind of modeled it after one of the drinking horns that I've seen around. I have one, but it's not exactly like this. Mine's a little plain, so we decided to make it a little more ornate and kind of go run with this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we launched this for con this, and we have two other new shirts. The nerds, our nerd shirt, which is kind of like a Doctor Who influence thing.
It's an acrostic poem.
Huh?
It's an acrostic poem.
Notices every ridiculous detail.
Correct. Right now it's got a Doctor Who type character and a hidden secret detail that you can only see if you've actually looked at the shirt. The plan is maybe to start making new versions of that with different characters to appeal for like different fandom. And then to honor our love of beer and Mark's homebrew, we created the Hefewhat's t-shirt, which is a green shirt with a Hefewhat's logo on the front, and we still have our Deadpool and Harley shirts too. So those are available.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm going through the shirts right now.
Where did you find the shirts? Maybe you can tell your audience.
Oh well, shameless plug. But if you go to waywardraven.com/shop, you can find all of the brand new shirts. But yeah, so the Berserker one is probably the best because I'm all about beer and I'm all about Vikings, and sometimes I've gotten drunk to the point where I thought it was a Viking. It happens, it's a common mistake.
Truly, what was there?
I think it's a side effect of drinking. Yeah, Chris is like, I've seen that happen. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Our best ideas while drunk.
That's how they happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't imagine that wasn't a hit, right? What did you bring this to San Diego or did you bring it to New York?
This
New York. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about New York. How was New York for you guys this year?
Oh, that was amazing.
New York was actually the best. That's the best show we've had in New York ever.
Really?
We did awesome. I think a number of reasons why. I mean, the shirts helped. I think the fact that Signed was done and rolled up in a trade helped.
Beer helped.
Beer helped. Yeah, beer. So if you didn't get any, what I had was I had two different varieties, Hefeweizen. I had a regular Hefeweizen, the old German style wheat beer. I had a Hefeweizen infused with apricots. And I also had a double IPA that was damn near 10%.
Wow. So I'm sure that got a lot of people over there.
oh yeah. Yeah, it was gone. By the end of the show, there was no beer left. It was, by Sunday morning, there was no beer left.
Nearby.
It's awesome. It's such a good way to get. It's like, well, we know you like comics, and because you're already at a Comic-Con, right? But you definitely like drinking, so come on over.
That's what pulled us over to your booth.
Yeah, you can just attach a bottle. What we need to do is like get a fishing pole and attach a bottle to the end of it, and just like swing it around people and have them grab at it and stuff, and like, oh, you're gonna get it, and then you hand it the trade and be like, here you go, $20.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's such a great sell because it's like, listen, you spend $15 with us, I'll give you a beer. And
yeah.
I think it blows people away because they're like, oh, you homebrew it? I'm like, yeah. But the times they'll just pop it right then and there. Mm-hmm. And you see this like dubious look in their eyes. They're like, he homebrewed this thing. This is either going to taste like feet or it's going to be marvelous. and they're going... It's probably he probably feet, and then they open it and they're like, wow, this is really amazing. I'm like, yeah.
It's probably feet,
it's feet. It's feet.
Best damn pills I've ever drank.
Yeah. Jokes on them. I actually stick my feet in the wort before I brew it, and that's where all the special flavor comes from.
That's how you really get all the sugars out. You just really got to push down on it.
Oh God. And it's funny too, because I know for me, you don't typically see people drinking at a con, right? So you hand them a beer and they're like, "Oh, can I have this? Oh, this is so."
Can I
this is so special. Yeah.
I don't know. Are you 21?
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing comes
show
up
me
again,
an ID. It says you were 21.
God damn it!
Yeah. Are you guys the police? Is this the FBI table?
If you're a cop, you got to tell us.
You gotta tell us. That's awesome.
Okay, I'm a cop. You got me.
So what do you guys got? What do you guys got coming up for cons? Is there anything? The winter season, everything dies down, huh?
Yeah.
It's dead. I think there's one or two things we could do, but to be perfectly honest, I think that I know Alex at one point. Alex is bald not because he chose to shave his head, but because all his hair fell out at the end of every con season. And at
the end of the season, my hair migrates down. Migrates up, and then it migrates back down.
Oh wow, that's a great superpower to have.
If we did,
it's a talent.
If we did one more show, it would grow in his feet.
Then he just goes full Hobbit.
I am part Hobbit.
What about second breakfasts?
I was eating second breakfast before they were cool. Okay.
I'm waiting
Mr.
for my
Frodo. I can't do another con, Mr. Frodo.
It's funny. I think when you said second breakfast, for some reason I just picture like a Hobbit story about them grabbing fourth meals, so they decide to go to Taco Bell in the middle of the night or something. I think if Hobbits are real people, they'd be the biggest fans of Taco Bell, because it's you could go get a fourth meal whenever you want. You could get a sixth or eighth meal too.
Does that make me a Hobbit, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. Me too.
Hey, I've got Hobbit pride.
God forbid they smoked ganja.
Yeah, awesome. I know. Yeah, right. Well, Gandalf.
This is my 15th meal today.
I always said. Gandalf.
It's only noon.
Gandalf rolls up to the Shire.
I have a problem, Frodo.
Gandalf rolls up to the Shire and he's on his wagon smoking a pipe. It's you're not smoking. You're smoking the grass. We know, Gandalf. We know what you've been doing with you. The devil's lettuce.
Oh my god! I actually had a beer called Devil's Lettuce.
You did?
Amazing.
Oh man, that's one of the best beer names to have. I can't believe it's taken.
It was a super hoppy coffee
Wow.
Beer. It was a mixed coffee. Yeah. I was drinking it while barbecuing it. Shit went down.
It's crazy to me that okay, we're back on beer again, which I don't mind talking. I don't mind.
To be fair, we talk about comics all the goddamn time. Beer, we don't know to talk about that.
I think it's fine for our 50th episode to not talk about comics. I think I'm completely okay with that. I don't know how Chris feels about that, but
I'm fine. I'm having a great time over here.
Okay. 6 beers deep. He forgot where he was. He's good.
Wait, which buttons record?
I mean, this isn't a beer this isn't a beer podcast. Damn it.
It's funny you guys were talking about waiting in line in Boston, because I take a trip to Boston. We try to go once a year, and we were down in the Seaport District, which is right next to Trillium Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
sure you know what. Oh, okay, yeah. So my sister and I found ourselves in a line to grab the 10 trillion thousand. It's a double IPA they brewed this summer, and there was only 50 cases of it or something like that. But they just advertised it on Facebook, and that was the only way you would know. So we walked around the corner, and there's already a line of 40 people around the building, and I'm like, where do these people come from? They have zip lines and shit. They're up in the rooftop. Oh, I got a Facebook alert, and they just drop down and They have like their tactical suits and like backpacks.
They rent the space above the brewery.
Yeah, they probably it pays their rent. It honestly does. Like you pay $20 for 4 cans of that beer, and people pay like $90 for it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Go look on eBay. Look on eBay. Plug in Treehouse on eBay and just see what comes up.
I've heard about Treehouse. I live about an hour from Treehouse, and I've heard what people will pay. A lot of people from work go there and stuff. It's really interesting though. So they just opened a bar in my town. I'm still like an hour from Treehouse, but the bar's been packed because Treehouse actually has a tap there, and they don't do taps at Treehouse. So like I don't know what kind of keg it is. I don't know what type of beer it is at this place. I haven't even been able. It's like been a 40-minute wait anytime you try to go there. But they told me Treehouse has a tap, and I was like, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah, it's probably their IPA. That's what they do best. But
yeah. So
they got some amazing stuff.
Chris, to fill you in here, Treehouse is like a beer that I don't know. They open at like 10 and they sell out by like noon every day. And
yeah, it's about right.
And the up price that people are willing to, like on the West Coast, they don't distribute the beer, so they're willing to pay like 4 times, 5 times the price. Mm-hmm. It's outrageous.
They're actually canning the beer. You're getting it as it's coming off the line. The only way to do it, you got to go up to the brewery and it's coming off the line, and they're like, "Here, this is what we have. You can." You want the max? All right, you can have 6 cans of this and 4 cans of that, and that's kind of it. Yeah,
it's the best. It's the best way. Like, cool. Imagine like you had those types of fans for your comics, where it was like, oh, is it off the press yet? Did you guys print it yet? Okay, good. You can only have one.
It's one comic per person.
You're trying to like fight people. Like, get back! Only one! Like, get back! Like fighting
the rolled up newspaper.
I think the closest we have for that is Damn Heroes. I still have like 1 or 2 friends that like if I'm late like by 15 minutes, they're like, "What the hell? Why have you not published it? What the fuck is wrong with you?"
They're blowing up your phone. Like, where are you? What happened?
Yeah. What happened? Like what? I said it for a random
full
time.
Disclosure.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. Alex is actually still drawing the strip right up until 2 minutes before we post it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
No, but
I'll be honest. Sometimes that does happen. Yeah. Like, because like I wish I had a buffer. I haven't had a buffer in a few years, but I find working my schedule just to kind of like spend Monday, Tuesday night to try to get ready for that Wednesday. Unfortunately, there's times where Monday and Tuesday shit's going down. I've got a day job, got a life, whatever. If I have forethought, I'll do it Saturday, Sunday. Doesn't always happen. Times I'm up Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, finishing it up. Those are the days I call my, I'm like, hey, Mark, it's going up right now.
9 times out of 10,
might be late. Can you add some stick characters in there?
What was that?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, like these shows go up like immediately after I'm done editing. I'm rarely ever ahead of schedule.
What's really made things awkward is like my wife went back to school now, so her laptop is a little fakakta, and I have the badass iMac.
Wait, what is that word? Hold on, we're not just gonna ignore that word. What? We're not just gonna let that happen. Can someone give me a definition? Fakakta?
Let's see what Urban Dictionary says about fakakta.
It's a little off center, if you will. It's a little, it's every now
that actually is.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. I was going to say every now and then we let the Greek guy use our Yiddish words.
It's the Greek who's saying more Yiddish than you.
I've assimilated.
Well, to be fair, I am the New Yorker, and New York has definitely a Jewish tone to it. So
what in New York?
Who'd have thunk it?
The devil, you say?
Yeah, who would have thought?
Burroughs, like I did.
Well, I mean, he starts with dressing like you. The only next step is to start talking and pretty soon acting like you. So he takes the role at this point.
I remember in it never occurred to me that I ended up using so many Yiddish things until like I was reading a Spider-Man comic, and it was like, and someone said, why do you keep using these Yiddish expressions? And I was like, holy shit. Same way.
When
like
people start,
all my team.
People start calling you out for the Yiddish you're using, that means you probably use it quite a bit now.
Yo, for real, actually, I work with these with these two Jewish ladies, and they constantly give me these looks whenever I'm like calling someone a Meshugana. Like, what did he just say?
You didn't have our permission, sir.
That's our word.
That's our word, damn it. That's our word.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about like you speaking Yiddish with a top hat on is just so fitting, though. I don't know. It just makes sense. Something about it. It just feels right.
Boobala, what did you do to your curls?
What even tops it the most, though, is my go-to curse word is usually something in Spanish.
Yeah. So that doesn't mix well.
Really?
Yeah. They don't know what they're dealing with at that point. They just think you're a robot or something.
Yeah, right?
He's like, something. We broke him. Something's going wrong.
Please read.
This is a walking 404 file.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you try to like, it's like your first attempt at a robot, and you send him into a room. It's like, oh shit, I left the Yiddish file open. Oh man, the Spanish drive is still open too. Oh god.
Oh my god. Hello, fellow human.
That's awesome.
So,
Damn Heroes. Yeah, Levi Mandarin. So Damn Heroes, you're consistently putting that out once a week still, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean,
is there ever a time where like you had an idea for it and something happens, like you see something on the news? I can't imagine there's anything on the news you can't use right now, but or like in real life.
Use what's in the news.
we actually
webcomic itself.
Well, yeah, watching the news is like a comic book right now. And man, it's like I think almost every comic publisher is like touched on it at some point right now. But do you ever get to a point where you're like, oh shit, I could use that for this week? Do that instead, or
I think
we've done some stuff like that.
Like I know there was that run we did. It was a one shot actually. That was based off of what was going on that recent week in Arrow. And actually, it's less the news, but more of like TV shows that we just happen to be watching. Like I know I can tell when Marcus caught up on Game of Thrones whenever we come up with a Game of Thrones one shot, or Arrow in that one case.
Do you remember what you used from Arrow? What the scene was?
It was we had this character called the Crossbow, and like it was a character that Bash was watching the show on TV, and he's like, this one dude, he's like, I'm the Crossbow, and then like the next panel, he's going to like the dog. I'm the Crossbow. Like everybody,
yeah,
and like with
you kind of pan out and you get like they're watching the TV and like you see him like at the end he's telling the main character I'm the Crossbow and like
that's awesome.
It was one of those like I was watching Arrow and I'm like, does he just fucking tell everybody? Like, is there anyone who reasonably doesn't know who's the Arrow? I mean, it's like, who?
It's getting like that on the Flash. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
He adopts a dog and he's like, I'm the Flash. Everyone.
Well, actually, it's funny. Like the Flash and Arrow, especially Arrow now, because now they have the two techies. But like, yeah. I always cringe whenever there's someone using technobabble on TV shows that are not Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
fucking wrong they are, or how just
so there's.
Oh my god!
It's funny we're talking about Arrow right now because I'm currently building a new gaming PC, and there was a scene I think it was 2 episodes ago on Arrow where they're asking like what the hacker was doing, and he's overclocking the CPU, and it's make it explode or something. Just like, no, that's not. That's not how computer works at all. Like, people overclock their CPUs all the time to get better graphics out of their computers. What do you?
Why can't they just hire someone who knows how a computer works?
Yeah. It's like
I'll do it for free.
Yeah. And like, it's so funny too. Yeah, if you guys watch Mr. Robot, like Mr. Robot has has a computer coder for one of the writers, and like I think every line of code they show on the show is. I mean, I'll even run it by because the IT guy at work. I'll talk to him like, so what do you think about that? He's like, oh yeah, it was a pretty cool way to do it. But it's all the computer code is real. Like if they got to boot up the Wi-Fi, like that's the code that you write for it, and or they're like, oh, the hard drive was in the wrong USB port, so the city's gonna blow up. It's like, what?
Yo, dude, I was behind on that shit. One of my former coworkers, because like my day job, I'm a software engineer, and one of my former colleagues, he's like, yo, have you watched this run of Arrow? And it's like he's talking about the scene with Felicity and Curtis talking about their side gigs, and like, do you code in Java or SQL?
Oh no!
I want to fucking break my TV. And I'm just like,
it's like
has like these fucking hovering supercomputer tennis balls, and he's duing a side gig in writing Java. Dude,
yeah, it doesn't make any sense. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to have. I don't know. He's supposed to be like one of the smartest people in the DC universe too, which is
exactly
like
it'd be like.
But he's got
See, we need a game. It's Yiddish or Yiddish or real technobabble.
Yeah. I actually want to do that as a comic run of just having shitty hackers.
Yeah.
And just
we always in college, like if we were working on homework or something, we'd grab our computer, we just start like banging on the keys and shit, and just be like, I'm in. Like every hacker, it's like on every show, it just like slams on the keys, and then they're like, I'm in. Like, what?
There's actually a web app that does that for you. I forgot the URL, but it's essentially you just hit whatever keys, and it starts spitting out like stuff that looks like
text.
Code.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But if you go really fast, it finally says access granted. If you type really fast. Like at the day job, they had a bunch of like our sysop people, like they were filming them for some sort of like office like hack day thing, and like all of them were like wearing sunglasses and hoodies with like big super huge headphones on, and they're just smacking their keyboard as they're.
Oh my god, that is awesome! That is so awesome. Yeah, it's so funny that like there's some parts of the shows where they just don't even care. Are you guys caught up on the CW shows right now? Or
I am so far behind.
I'm behind.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm behind on both Flash and Arrow actually.
Yeah, well, they're still doing it on Flash and Arrow.
We didn't talk about it in the last show, but the Barry being drunk.
Yeah,
telling everybody in the bar like, I'm the Flash.
Yeah, I'm the Flash. It's like they're really getting carried away with it now. Like he's just telling everybody. Yeah, but the whole technical mumbo jumbo is just like, oh my god, it's got to stop. Flash this season, the focus of the season for Flash is I keep complaining to Chris about it. It's not like Barry's not the Flash anymore. Iris and them keep saying like we are the Flash, and I'm like, no. Like
you guys are support.
Yeah, you guys are support. Barry's always been the Flash. It's like you're the support team.
Well, I love how Iris all of a sudden is just like, I can do everything on this computer, and like, and she can talk to everybody and do everything. Like, what the fuck?
Well, considering Felicity went from working at a Best Buy to being like a super hacker.
Yeah,
I totally believe that Iris, being a reporter, can now become a tech specialist.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Complete sense, right?
I mean, let's not even talk about the technobabble. Let's talk about how they think politics and business works, where the fucking mayor of Star City being a vigilante and never.
about this with Chris last episode. I won't spoil it for you, but Ollie has to go somewhere in Europe as the mayor of Star City, right? So
that happens.
Yeah, so he goes to some prison where they're trying to get someone released at a prison, and this prison's in Europe somewhere. I don't know, it's in like Russia maybe, and they're like, "Oh, Mayor Queen, good to see you." It's like, you don't know who he could be the mayor of any city in the U.S., and you're like, like what the hell? Why would you know? And like he has any grounds to be like, yes, I'm the mayor of a city in the U.S., so now you need to release this U.S. citizen. It's like, what?
Let me show you my mayor pass. This is my mayor badge.
He just goes over to Europe and like
before I start throwing Yiddish at you.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he just sounds like he knows what he's talking about. It's fine.
All he has to do is bring some Bialys and locks, you know?
Yeah, he shoots people with arrows, so he's completely qualified to run a city, obviously.
Well, I guess in that same logic, 5 years on a forgotten, abandoned island, and you become a fucking superhero. So
yeah, hey, it works.
Yeah,
I just want to back up here because I want to clarify something.
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me that the 5-session certification course I signed up for at the Chubb Institute is not going to make me a godsend computer hacker?
No, not even close.
And they got my money already too.
They already have it.
If you start dating the CEO of a company, you can inherit the company when they die.
Oh well, sure. That sounds fair. I'll tell.
I never thought about that. Oh my god, all these plot holes I never noticed. Like, yeah, Felicity did inherit
attack because she was banging Ray Palmer.
Yeah, she was dating him. That's crazy. Wow. See, you guys. I mean, like that's like 1 or 2 episodes. You guys have like material for the comic strip for like.
Oh yeah, no,
it's so easy. They make it so easy, right?
That's Catwoman's angle in Batman. She just wants Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah, is that what she wants?
We've been dating for at least 5 or 6 weeks now. When are you going to give me the company? when do I get the company? That's all I want to know. How many weeks do I have to date you?
I think we have a new plot line.
It's Justice League coming out next week. I was watching Superman. I had the Richard Donner cut, Superman 2. And there's the whole scene where, like, the beginning of the movie, Lois Lane is sitting in the office, and she looks over at Clark Kent, and she's looking at a picture of Superman in the newspaper, and she's looking over at Clark Kent, and she's looking at the newspaper, and then she draws, like, a top hat and glasses on the Superman, and she's like, this is you. And Clark Kent's like, no way, it can't be. It's like, obviously, it's him. Like, come on. He just puts glasses on.
I still can't get over that.
Yeah, but there's a great part in the movie right after that where she throws herself out the window to prove that he's Superman, and he just lets her fall. What he does is he opens up like a canopy in the city, and she like lands on that, and then like lands on like a vegetable cart or something. Like he doesn't save her, and then he's like up still at the window, like looking at her, like, what are you doing, Lois? It's like, you freaking idiot. he just let her fall out the window. Like
for the record, that's a perfectly reasonable response to I'm going to prove you're Superman. I'm just jumping out this window.
Yeah, it's yes. And that, like, I can't imagine, like, back in the day, like, oh, you should show your kids this movie. It's like, if you want Superman to save you, just throw yourself out a window.
Well, isn't that how you get, like, those shows where, like, the kid thinks the parent's a superhero and they try to shoot their parents?
Yeah, and that was, so, like the
Breakable and...
and Breakable, in the Richard Donner cut of Superman, that's a scene they actually took out of the movie. So Lois Lane...
I remember, yes.
She takes the gun, and how she actually finds out he's Superman is she shoots the gun at him. And it's actually like a really dark scene. And he's right after she shoots him with the gun, he like sits up straight and like he goes the full Superman mode while he's dressed like Clark Kent. And he's like, don't shoot me. And it's like, holy shit, he's Superman. But then she goes, oh, it was a blank in the gun, you idiot. And he's like, oh. Because like kids were going to be like, oh, I'm going to see if my dad's Superman. Those damn kids. It's But I mean,
this with blanks, right, Dad?
yeah.
I guess it depends what part of the country you're from.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so
wasn't that what's his name? Brandon Lee.
Yes,
Bruce Lee's son. Didn't he get shot by a blank and it still killed him?
Yes, because
Well, there was something weird with that, right?
I think because they had something. There was something that was in the gun from a previous scene, and they didn't clear it out when they loaded it with blanks. So essentially, the blank just doesn't have a shell, but this thing had something in the barrel, allegedly.
Yeah,
but
if there's a projectile, it's still a projectile. Yeah,
exactly, and that's what got him.
Wow.
It's that too, because I think the guy who was responsible for that, the guy who fired the gun, he just recently passed away, and that was like his biggest guilt in his life. It was just like, oh my god, I was responsible for this.
Imagine being known for that. Wow, that's terrible. Some real talk on the show right now.
Well, he had to live with it. I mean, he was still getting work as a stuntman.
Oh.
He just really shitty about it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't his fault, right? I mean, it just happens. Yeah. So, are you guys going to see Justice League next week, or you got it queued up, or
maybe?
Is that I don't think it's going to be good, or is that
I've been burnt way too much by DC.
It hurts. I'm just numb to it now.
Like my friends and I were like, shit. Are we gonna go see this? We're like, oh.
Can we just make Wonder Woman 2 instead?
Yeah, just Wonder Woman 2 would be great. Wonder Woman is so great.
If it gets made.
Now she'll make it.
All that drama.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. There's so much drama. I mean, there you go. There's some more. there's some. You can probably twist that into a superhero comic for the week or something like that.
I don't know. Like I think there's certain things that are going on in the news that we do try to stay away from to keep things light.
Yeah.
Especially
we try not to delve into political stuff or
it's like the difference between
I don't think anything like that.
It's the difference between like lighthearted stuff and like South Park. It's like
exactly.
Yeah. There's that line.
Since I'm like subjected to all this shit in the news, especially like from my day job, when I come home, the worst things are going on around me, the more I want to draw silly things.
Yeah. Yep.
So and I don't want Damn Heroes to be polluted by that in any way.
Yeah, that makes sense. So just for clarification, again, as Damn Heroes it works as a continuity. Like you'll get more. Are there like hidden jokes if you read all of them in sequence, or is it kind of like they're all just one shots?
It's a mix. We have a lot of
runs.
Yeah, there's originally we had long runs, and we would use one shots to kind of segue into other story arcs.
Mm-hmm.
But we found that one shots do very, very well because they're anyone can just kind of walk in on them and just say, okay, this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So what we try to do is for our continuity, we reduce the size of those arcs,
mm-hmm.
and then we just have one shots as filler in between, or for holidays and stuff.
3, 4, 5 in a row tops usually, something like that. Well, the other thing is sometimes this stuff gets written, months ahead of time. Lately, it's been maybe a couple months ahead of time, and then every now and then something will hit us from the news or something's coming up. Kind of switch gears a little bit and then kind of go back to one of the runs, but so some stuff you'll see is relatively universal. Some stuff the one shots tend to be a little bit more topical, I think.
Yeah, I think I like the one shots, and there's one that happened recently that was like the I don't know the characters by name yet, but the girl who dresses in the purple,
Dr. Entropy.
Yeah,
Dr. Entropy.
Yep.
They're standing there like watching a movie, and they're like, it's a reboot, and they're like, so what does that do? It's like, oh, it makes you want to watch like the originals or they're like, that was not as good. It's like, but we have to sit through like 20 minutes of this bull crap like in the beginning of the movie. It's like kind of like getting back together with your ex. Mm-hmm. It's like yeah, but the first 20 minutes is usually more fun than this. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, that was so good. It's so true too. Like all these everything you look at is like a reboot or remake or a sequel. Well,
I don't know if you remember, we did one way back in the first few years. where Dr. Entropy got rebooted in the middle of the strip, like because
really?
had her old look, and then like halfway through the strip, it's just like she's like doing something, and then it's like poof, and then it's she's as a more well-defined woman, and she's like, I fucking hate reboots.
Damn it. That's awesome.
It's kind of a throwback to that too.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But actually, one thing I do like to throw in some Easter eggs, either for things that we just happen to be thinking about, or just whatever goofy shit I can cram in. Like one of the early strips I did, I threw MODOK from Marvel in as a lawn gnome, and like an outside shot. Man. Or there was one sequence where I had Dr. Entropy was working on a piece of one of the cybernetic horses from Horseman.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And we've been thinking about, like, I think there was one recently we did where we introduced Zeus, and I was telling Mark, like, yo, we should see about tying this up into Signed in some way. But we ended up not doing that, but it's like, it's stuff like that. We like to throw in, like, if it's not in jokes to stuff that we know about, to our stuff, or just like, I think whatever I'm in the mood for a lot of times.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Can you make that lawn gnome into an actual product so I can buy it?
That's Chris's favorite character is MODOK. He's the only one though. It's the only one with that as his favorite character.
I fucking love
the man with no body, the floating head.
I love MODOK. I've always loved the more obscure or just silly characters in Marvel. So
yeah. Recently, they with the Marvel Legacy, they did the new Spider-Man with Miles Morales, and they're redoing the Sinister Six and the Spots.
Right. Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my god, it's the fucking Spot. I haven't seen him in so long.
We used to have a segment. We used to have a shitty's villain segment. We just haven't. It's been like too much to talk about to do the shitty, like the shitty villain of the week. And I mean, we've had people like Codpiece on there. It was a Grant Morrison character with like the dick. We called it a dick cannon. Is what he had. There's been like armless Tiger Man, who was just a guy without arms that would like scratch people with his feet.
Who's the one that snorted cocaine and got his superpowers?
Oh, that was Snowflake was his name, I think, or Snowstorm. Yeah, he would get like increased strength and abilities from snorting cocaine. Like the 80s was the craziest time period for comic book characters that like nobody had heard of.
It's like the 80s and like the 60s and 60s-ish.
But how do we get
like,
this cocaine?
Racist.
Yes, there's one
super racist ones.
Was it Hemogoblin?
Yeah.
Was a white supremacist vampire that would bite. He would bite black people and infect them with AIDS. Was Hemogoblin? I swear to, as a character in comics in the 1970s, and I'm pretty sure it was a DC character too.
Yeah, these are all big two characters too. Like we're not talking indie stuff.
This is like DC stuff. That's like, what was going on back then?
It's just like it was. All this stupid shit that was like common language. That now it's like, oh, that's a little racist.
Yeah, we're gonna put this book to the side and pretend it never happened.
What's going on now with I was reading something where some people were kind of getting a little annoyed with Gypsy from Flash.
Oh, really?
Because I mean, Gypsy was a fucking derogatory term.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
Especially if you look at her comic book look, she was like wearing like these frilly skirts and a bandana. I'm like, that's a little much.
What was Mike? What was the egg one? Was it Eggman Foo or something like that?
Egg Foo was his name.
Yeah,
he started off as a Wonder Woman villain, and then they let Grant Morrison like reinvent him in like, I don't know, the early 2000s. But yeah, Egg Foo had like a Fu Manchu facial hair, and he was a giant. It was so racist. It was like
he was a giant yellow egg with squinty eyes. I couldn't believe it was a real thing when we discovered it.
It was like yeah, so we could just make a podcast just about those characters, which we should start getting back into them again, because it was so much fun to be like, this actually existed, and like you would read their list of abilities and powers, and it was like, oh my god.
I know Cracked made a really good one recently. And they had like left arm removal guy or something. That was always my. I love obscure characters, but some of them just irk me sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Chris and I were going to contact the artist of Codpiece. I think she still lives in New York City or something. I don't know. I think she's in her 60s, maybe. But we were just going to email her. I don't know how she would feel about a couple of guys emailing her like, do you want to be on a show and talk about your character Codpiece from like the early 90s? You know, do you remember the one with the dick cannon? And then she'd be like, yeah.
But I'm like, legitimately want to know the origin of that. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck was going on at the time?
We need to know the story about Codpiece.
How awesome would it be if she would just like regale you with it being her crowning achievement or something like that?
Oh my god,
fantastic!
Like she just has a room devoted to Codpiece, like all like just pictures of him everywhere.
This is the Codpiece.
That's just like that's what I want to do with this channel. Like someday I will have like the definitive documentary about Codpiece, and she will sit down with me. It's going to happen.
You know, the sad truth is, the true story is probably she's like, well, there was this dick writer who, he had this idea. And every day he just kept going, no, you got to do this. This is the idea. Like, I want a gun where his dick is. A gun. Can I do that? Can we get that? Can we just... And, like, it just wore her down. After a while, she's like, all right.
It's also got a fist in there and a multi-tool.
Yeah.
It would be really funny if that was the original story where a writer demanded a dick gun, and then that same writer went over and influenced Robert Rodriguez for
oh, yeah. Yeah. The dick pistol? Yeah.
Yes.
I just could see the interaction too. Like every day, she's like, well, how about a holster? How about a holster instead? Can you have it on his hip? Can we on his back?
No, it has to be.
The gun is like on his shoulder. Wouldn't that be better? Like,
and it's not like he couldn't hide it anywhere. Like this thing was a can. Like you look at the picture of it, it's a cannon. Like it's like a cannon. It's a dick cannon. It's crazy. And I think she was relating the character. I never read the issue. I should though. But I think the character was like, he was supposed to be just like the, I don't know, epitome of misogyny or something like. There's more deeper meaning to it because I'm pretty sure Grant somehow. But yeah, there's definitely a deeper meaning there. But when you see the picture, it's just the guy with the dick cannon.
I read the issue. I own a copy of it. It's brilliant. Like after we discovered it, I was just like, went to my comic shop. Like, can you give me this issue? He's like, I've got it over here. I was like, oh my god.
How many copies do you have? I'll buy them all.
I have it over here, and you can just have it. I don't want it.
Actually,
these are free.
Actually, children come into the store.
Have you guys ever read the comic version of Wanted?
Yes. Yep, by Mark Miller. Yep.
I was rereading it recently because the movie came on. My wife was watching it, and I was like, every time I watch the movie, after I'm done cringing, it makes me want to go back and read the comic because that was actually a much better version.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was amazing.
But then I was premise. Like, oh yeah, no, the premise was great, but like the characters that he came up with were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like Shithead and
yeah, Shithead. Yeah, I remember Shithead. He was just made of shit. Yeah. Oh. It was like I wonder what Shithead is. Oh wow, he's literally made of shit. Like that's what he is.
If you get a chance, Marvel recently, like in the past year or two, did a run on Fool Killer, and it's literally just like, what shitty villain can we come up with this week? Like there was a guy whose origin was he had a stench so foul that he could like make people die from the stench, and how he got it was him and his family were having a barbecue, and Fing Fang Foom was attacking the city, and he came over and shit on the building, killed his entire family, but he was reborn as a supervillain. It's like 5-6 issues, but it's so good. It's just so fucking ridiculous.
Wow.
How shitty is your life?
But this is a major like publisher. This is Marvel putting this shit out. Like I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Oh my god.
Alex, have we done an intentional damn hero strip with just worst heroes and villains we can think of?
I don't know. Maybe, but actually, that reminds me of the. I had an idea for a strip where like Sebastian's got to clean up Godzilla's shit. So
nobody talks about that, right? It's got to be like a horse walking through the city. Like Godzilla's there, he's there to fight a monster, but he's gonna shit at some point, and he's gonna shit somewhere.
Well, that was. I think that was the idea. Like, Mark was a little squeamish about it, but I'm like, dude, that would be fucking appropriate.
Yeah, like he's gonna.
It's a superhero origin because that shit's gotta be radioactive, man.
Oh yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
No, I think the worst part would be if you don't get superpowers.
You just get shit on. You're like, well, at least it's radioactive, right? One guy got bit by a spider and he has powers. Come on, like. Oh man.
Oh man.
All right. Well, you guys got anything? You guys got anything coming up? Any special stuff you want to talk about, or?
I got to go, but I know Mark's got a little bit more.
We for one, I know we've been talking about serializing one of Josh's novels. So we're actually going to be. What do you think about? I know we haven't settled on a day, but I think I kind of like the idea of kind of a Friday read sort of thing.
I think we're going back and forth on that one through email. Like the idea was like, since Josh is a novelist by trade, we wanted to put out like the individual chapters of his book on our website. I'm a little hesitant for Fridays because like I don't know if anyone actually reads stuff on Fridays. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what we're kind of go back and forth with, but we're looking within the next week or two to start popping that out as like a series.
You're gonna put like art to each page or something, or
no? It's gonna be straight up text. I mean, literally his novel on our website.
Oh, okay, cool.
And our stuff's formatted where you can like drop it into like Instapaper or whatever, so you can read it.
Cool.
And he's already done one of those, so I was thinking about making like a separate section on our website for like free novels. So either like. I'm not sure what would work with like downloadable PDF or you just read it on our website. So that one's like we're still kind of experimenting with it, but yeah, it's probably within the next week or so.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So that's going to be very soon. Alex and Josh are working on a kid's book, Morty. So Alex has been doing the artwork for that. We should hopefully have that out early next year. We also Horseman's going to be done. Pedro's doing a little bit of retouch work for us on one of the issues. Once that's done, we'll have that rolled up into a trade. Ideally, I think we're gunning for again San Diego this year if we can have it ready and released for that.
That'd be great.
So that should be cool. Yeah. Ascendant 3, I need to get lettered. That once that's done, that'll be out. I mentioned the cycle earlier. And we actually have recently signed another artist for one of our kids' books, so that's going to be out soon. And I think when we start seeing some concept art for that, we'll probably put some of that out.
Awesome.
Ton of really good stuff, though. Absolutely.
Yeah, and for anyone wondering where you can find this stuff, Damn Heroes is damnheroes.com for the weekly comic, and then you can get Committee number 2 is on Comixology right now. And all this stuff's available on their store at Wayward Raven. WaywardRaven.com. That's it. Yep.
You can get signed the complete trade right on Amazon too. So if you've got a Prime account and don't want to pay for shipping, you don't have to get it from us. You can get it from Prime too.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love not paying for shipping.
If you do, we'd appreciate the rating on there. Would be real cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if any of your listeners do pick up signed and they give us a review, reach out to us. Might give you a little some.
I might have a couple copies of the first issue lying around somewhere, and we'd be happy to sign those off and send them as a nice incentive to,
All right, I'm ordering right now and putting a review in.
Nice.
Yeah.
5 stars.
5 stars. 5 stars or nothing. You get nothing.
Yeah. Can we have 6 stars?
It's under 4. If it's under 5 stars,
the elusive 6th star.
Yeah. Where did it go? No one knows. Awesome.
So outside of the website, website and Amazon, where else can people find you social media wise?
So we're at Wayward Raven on both Twitter and Instagram. Our Facebook page is Wayward Raven Media.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
What else? We're also on Tumblr if anyone's still using that.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Tumblr, but yeah, you could throw that out there too. So
We're still getting Mike to use Twitter. We're working slowly on that.
yeah, I'm slowly integrating into all these things. It takes me a little while.
My MySpace page is really booming.
Wait, you can drop me a comment on my MySpace page. That would be great. That's how I get it.
Tell you, one of these days we need to use Friendster.
Friendster.
You can look me up on Classmates.
Classmates.
So right now, I think anyone under 20 who's listening to this is like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. We're gonna start sending people like in the email for interviews. I'm gonna send them like my Christian Mingle profile, so they know that I'm like just so they know I'm like a wholesome individual that they want to do interviews with.
Yeah, I think when I went to sign up for that, it exploded.
The computer just started melting.
He overclocked the CPU doing it.
Yeah, he overclocked the CPU.
I overclocked it to 666 hertz.
Great, that is awesome.
That's awesome, girl. I want to mingle with you so hard in my podcast.
I'm gonna mingle with you so hard. Oh man.
So everybody, I'm sure you know by now where to find us, but FortressComicNews.com, Fortress Chris on Twitter, Fortress News Chris on Instagram, all that fun stuff. You can find Mike at Ricker621 on Instagram. Reviews, stars, thumbs up, all that crap. Do it. Guys, it's been an awesome show. Thanks for all the laughs.
Yeah, great. It's always fun.
Mike, here's the 50 more.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for the big 5-0. Now we can retire the podcast and reboot it as something else.
No, we got 2 more episodes for that.
2 more episodes.
We got to hit 52.
All right. See you guys.